Welcome back to the deep dive. Yeah, the crypto world just moves so fast, it's constantly shifting under our feet. Today, we're digging into the latest daily alpha on crypto market insights for June 2025. We're really trying to map out how this, well, volatile frontier is turning into something more like a legit financial landscape. Our mission here is simple. Pull out the key insights for you.
Exactly. The goal is to cut through all that noise.
There.
We want to give you a real shortcut to understanding the important stuff, the financial shifts, the tech advancements, the policy changes that actually matter right now, so you walk away feeling like you really get what's happening with crypto's role.
Okay, sounds good. Let's jump in with the market snapshot then. Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It recently slipped below that $104,000 support level. It's kind of consolidating now around, what, $103,800? The weekend was pretty choppy liquidity-wise.
Yeah, that choppiness is pretty typical. You see it often when liquidity is thin, like over weekends. It often kind of sets the stage for what might happen when institutional flows pick back up on Monday. Gives us a hint where the smart money might go.
Right. But speaking of big moves, wow, the Circle stock story, that's got to be the headline. It surged, what, 40%? Now sitting at 295 market cap, around $75 billion. That's a serious jump.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just, random market movement. It's tied directly to the Genius Act. That just passed the Senate pretty decisively, too, 68-30. This is really pivotal stuff. It basically creates a clear, solid regulatory framework for stablecoins, mandates 100% reserve backing.
Oh, okay, so that clarity is driving the confidence.
Exactly. It's what the market, especially institutions, have been looking for. And now it's off to the House for, hopefully, final approval.
Got it. Okay, shifting gears a bit to smart money plays. We saw some really precise timing from someone called Whale XCB92. This account generated like $14.8 million in unrealized profits. And that's after already making $20 million this month. What does that kind of individual action tell us? Is it leading the market or just really good at following it?
Well, that kind of consistent precision, it's not just about the profit figure itself. It really highlights how certain players, maybe with better data or just amazing intuition, can navigate this volatility. Stuff that trips up most people. For us, it underlines that there are often hidden drivers in the market. Everyone's always hunting for that alpha.
Makes sense. And on the more institutional side, BlackRock's still buying. They added another 2,681 Bitcoin. That's over $280 million worth. Keeps their ETF inflow streak going 9 days now. What's the real read-through on that persistence?
Yeah, 9 days is significant. This isn't just testing the waters. It looks like a strategic allocation.
Yeah.
Consistent buying like this signals, I think, pretty robust and growing institutional confidence. They see Bitcoin as a legitimate long-term asset. It shows a real shift, in how traditional finance is viewing these digital assets. They're making serious commitments.
Okay. So, strong confidence in Bitcoin from the big players. But, like always in crypto, there's another side to the coin. Ethereum's seeing a different story right now, isn't it? There was a pretty big outflow from Coinbase, 40,000 ETH, valued at, what, $100.3 million? And this is happening while hedge funds are apparently taking record short positions on the CME.
That's a fascinating contrast. Why the split, heavy shorting, especially from hedge funds, often points to a bearish outlook. Or it could be setting up for a potential short squeeze if the market turns. It definitely hints at a real division in sentiment about where Ethereum is headed in the near term, even as Bitcoin gets that institutional nod.
Interesting. Okay, let's zoom in from the big picture moves down to the protocol level. What's driving growth there? Hyperliquid seems to be leading on daily fees, pulling in $2.4 million in just 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's impressive. And Mabel Finance, wow, 110% year-over-year growth, hitting $20 million in annual recurring revenue.
Yeah, those numbers are significant. It's more than just saying a protocol is healthy. It's a strong counterargument to people who still think crypto is just speculation. These figures show protocols building actual sustainable businesses. They're attracting users, generating real revenue. That's, vital for mainstream adoption, improving DeFi's utility.
And we're seeing money move in terms of total value lock too, right? Shows where people trust putting their assets. Like Katana hitting a $135 million TVL, that's a 300% jump. And Inc. saw a 10x surge to $74 million in stablecoin deposits. Also, Aerodrome's supply is up 32% just this week, apparently, as they get closer to integrating with base TUX. What's the significance of TVL growth like that?
TVL growth is, it's a really key metric. It signals user trust and where liquidity is actually being put to work. For Aerodrome, that base DEX integration is strategically huge. It opens them up to a whole new ecosystem, potentially much larger user base. Integrations like that can often fuel explosive growth. It's all about expanding their reach, connecting ecosystems.
Okay, pulling back out again. What does all this mean for the bigger macro trends? And sovereign adoption seems to be a theme. That Genius Act for stablecoins we talked about, requiring 100% reserves, that feels foundational.
Absolutely foundational. Regulatory clarity like that is a complete game changer. It really smooths the path for wider adoption, institutions, the public, because it tackles that perceived risk head on. It builds trust where there wasn't a clear framework before.
And we're seeing governments act, too. Wyoming picking the Say blockchain for its state-backed stablecoin, WYST. And it scored perfectly, 30 out of 30 in their evaluation. That's quite an endorsement.
It is, and it connects directly to this growing trend. Governments actually engaging with blockchain tech. They're moving past just talking about it to actually implementing it. It shows real maturation. States are actively using the tech for their own financial infrastructure.
Right. And then globally, you have Texas passing a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill, and Thailand just implemented Bitcoin tax cuts.
Exactly. These aren't isolated incidents. They point to this broader global shift. Nations are starting to see digital assets as potential strategic reserves, as economic tools. Governments are moving, from being skeptical to actually participating. It's a massive shift in how countries are thinking about integrating crypto.
So, yeah, a really dynamic picture today. You've got regulatory progress, big institutional plays, innovative protocols growing. It all points towards crypto maturing.
It really does. And it leaves you thinking, with this clear legislation and states and even nations adopting blockchain faster, what kind of, fundamental shifts could we see? Shifts in how we even think about national or perhaps even global currencies in the next few years.
Definitely a lot to ponder there. Keep digging into these developments, everyone, and we'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.